Okay, so with the Eagles clearly having weaknesses, what's the most glaring issue and how can the squad get it fixed? Plus, Nick Sirianni admitted to being open to change, so could he actually be giving Brian Johnson control over the offense? And why would that make some sense? Oh yeah, and as bad as the defense may be, there's reason to still have hope that this unit can win a Super Bowl, so let's break it down. But first, let's run it. What's up guys? In case anyone's new to the channel, I'm Josh and I cover the Birds. So let's start with Haason Reddick, who hosted his annual Lucky Christmas event in Camden, where the Eagles pass rusher had dinner for families, while also allowing families to explore the Adventure Aquarium, make crafts, and receive presents from number 7. I don't know about you, but this is the kind of positivity I need in my life, especially after the past couple weeks for the Birds. And you know what? With Christmas coming up, I'm going to do a special giveaway for everyone who wants to watch the Eagles in person versus the Giants. All you got to do is do me a favor, hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed, and then go comment Merry Christmas, and you'll automatically be entered to win 2 tickets on December 25th. By the way, I'll end up drawing to see who the winner is during our live stream Monday night of the Seahawks game when hopefully Haas is terrorizing Geno Smith. Because Haason's been decent now at 11 sacks on the season, but overall, like we know, the pass rush in general has been lacking, as the Eagles are now 12th in pressure rate while ranking 10 percentage points lower than Dallas at the top of the rankings. Add on top of that the fact that there's definitely not near the same rotation as last year, and it's realistic to think fatigue could be playing a factor, which Sirianni confirmed the unit could certainly use some rest.
We know we played, a lot of plays, on, especially defensively, and that's my job as a coach. And like I said to you last week, I didn't feel like I did a good enough job as a coach at having the guys rested enough. And I definitely said that to our team, is I have to make sure they're rested enough, and sometimes it's to pull back a little bit on Thursday, and sometimes it's to pull back a little bit on Friday or Wednesday. No excuses. I'll take full responsibility. If our guys are tired or play tired, that's a full responsibility on me. Like I said last week, I felt like I could have done a better job. But again, we just have to be ready for any situation that we're put into. And like I said, particularly, last week I felt like I didn't have them fully ready to go there physically.
Okay, that probably doesn't help everything, but it no doubt wouldn't hurt and hopefully provides a spark, because I think we all realize this defense is going to go how the D-line goes. So if we can get a jolt to the pressure generated while also limiting the run like we were earlier in the year as the #1 rush defense in the league, life's going to get a whole lot better. However, we've clearly seen frustration on the back end, with Kevin Byard voicing his disagreement in some play calls, along with Slay sharing of his distaste for Desai's scheme at times, calling it too confusing. Now, I'd argue that this shouldn't be a problem this late into the season, yet at least Desai admitted to needing to make things simpler.
We're just trying to really hone in and be able to hang our hat on something that the guys can feel confident and go out and play with. And because ultimately that's the most important thing, is making sure from a schematic standpoint, we've got enough answers, and that the players have the answers on the field that they can go adjust to and respond to whatever an offense is giving us. And I think we did a good job of detailing that out last week, and we had some spots that were really effective at, and obviously some spots that we weren't, that we got to continue to improve upon, but we'll continue to build.
All right, you guys know I've talked about this on multiple occasions, but Desai always says the right things, yet at this point, I just want to see results. Plus, say what you will about the play calling, but as you know, the players themselves have been just as bad at times. For example, to pick on James Burntberry, this was one of the multiple times he flat out got beat. I mean, thankfully, Sidney Brown was there to help make up for the mistake, and honestly, my hope is we can keep seeing more of the Rook. But regardless, it's going to have to be the offense that carries the Birds to any sort of success. And my positive spin on that is that's okay, because defenses don't win championships anymore.
I like you, but you're crazy.
Okay, I'm not suggesting that I believe in this defensive unit as of today. Yet if we take a look at some of the worst defenses to win a Super Bowl, the 2011 Giants, who ranked 25th in the league, won it all versus the vaunted Patriots. Yes, I know, their defense did get it together in the playoffs, but they were nearly dead last before that. And then there's the 2006 Colts, who were 23rd, the 2009 Saints, who were 20th, 2007 Giants at 17th, and just last year, the Chiefs were just the 16th ranked defense in the league.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes, I am. Kind of. By the way, just to clarify, this is based on points allowed per game, so that technically ranks Philly at 28th in the league right now. So maybe if Desai can turn things around with the help of some better individual play from the defense, we might be able to get somewhere around 20th to 25th in defensive ranking, especially considering the fact that we play Seattle before closing it out against the Giants twice, as well as Jonathan Gannon's fighting pew-pew-pews. However, getting back to my comment about the offense needing to be the one to carry, I can appreciate Jeff Kerr's positivity, sharing that the Birds' success rate on offensive plays ranks 4th overall overall, along with 6th in touchdowns per drive, 5th in points per possession, 3rd in third down percentage, and 1st in fourth down percentage. Yet that last part is completely unacceptable at 22nd in turnovers per drive. And it feels more like what Ruben Frank shared, that the last time the Eagles led at halftime was the Miami game back in week 7. And the last time they scored more than 7 points in a first quarter was opening day in New England. That is unbelievable. Like, you'd think we could have scored another field goal or a touchdown or something. But yeah, the number of turnovers, especially in advantageous scoring positions, continue to cost us. So honestly, that one's on the players, which is kind of what Brian Johnson was saying.
I think the last 2 games, we've moved the ball down there and hadn't finished. Whether, we had an opportunity for a 1st and goal at the 6 or 5 yard line and we got a penalty, and then we ended up turning the ball over. But, the previous game, I think we drove down there and we didn't finish in the red zone, and we had to end up kicking field goals. So, yes, you do want to gather information. It is a long game. But at the same time, you do want to attack, you want to be aggressive, and you want to, try to jump out to a lead. So, that's something that we haven't been able to do in the past couple of games, and we got to get it corrected.
Okay, hold on. I'm not saying BJ's faultless, because Philly didn't turn it over against San Fran, and we saw what the offense did, or I guess didn't do in that one, with Johnson even going to the team afterward admitting his terrible play calling. So I kind of agree with Steven's assessment. No consistency in the run game with Swift, no RPO or quick 3-step drop passes, no answers for zero blitz, doesn't attack the middle of the field, doesn't scheme guys open, lowest motion usage in the league. This guy's in over his head. Plus, add on top of that Jalen Hurts has the 2nd worst quarterback rating on first down due to too many deep shots taken early, and it's no wonder there's been many struggles. Yet isn't this looking eerily similar to Sirianni's 2021 offensive scheme?
I knew you.
Come on, you can't deny it, especially like I talked about recently that Shane Steichen was obviously being held back somewhat by Sirianni before gaining complete control once he left for Indy. So despite the fire Brian Johnson becoming a weekly thing now, my question is, how much of a fair shake is BJ actually getting? And Thomas Mott and I discussed it during our Wednesday Link Live. We talked about it a little bit even in the offseason. I remember we're like, hey, I can understand Brian Johnson feels like a good move, familiarity with Jalen. He's going to be new first-year coordinator, but it's like, hey, it should be okay because he's not having to, come in with an offense that's not proven, players that can't make plays, all that. But yeah, it's like you get the confirmation and say, well, this looks an awfully a lot of like Nick Sirianni's offense in 21 because it does. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know, everybody, just think about your regular day jobs. Like, how good do you do when your boss is over your shoulder and just being like micromanaged to death? Like, I'm a train wreck. So if Brian Johnson is sitting there going, oh, okay, so you're giving me these 3 plays. It's like we're playing Madden. It's Ask Madden, give me these 3 plays. Okay, I could choose these in this position, and that's it. Like, what's he supposed to do? Because it's going based on Sirianni. He's going to give him the play call, the general rough estimate of a play call, and you can almost guarantee yourself he's more of the scheme put in or the game plan for every week. Yeah. So, I know that Sirianni, he likes control. It's not a secret. He likes to be involved. He's a very offensive-minded coach. But I think this is very much of you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, even though Brian Johnson is a first-year OC and it may seem like it's crazy, I would just be curious to know, and I do think that is Sirianni very heavily involved. I would say, you know what, these last several weeks, give Brian Johnson the full, complete control. Back off completely. Say, you call whatever you want. You scheme up whatever you want, whatever feels the best. And if after those weeks, all of a sudden we're sitting there like, well, we lost the division. We're definitely not 1 or 2 seed now. You know what? You at least kind of have an answer because right now it's not working. It's not working with what Sirianni comes up to. And you're really not allowing Brian Johnson to grow to the full potential. So as much flack and fire Brian Johnson as we give him, I'm with you. And I said it on my show yesterday too. It's like, I'm just questioning because I really don't think it's a fair assessment to just go, hey, offense is bad. Of course, it's Brian Johnson at first-year OC. There's going to be struggles, no doubt. But there's too many similarities, like you just said, about the Sirianni offenses that there's a lot of this with Sirianni flavor, and it just needs to be changed. I would say, what's the worst you could do, right? And what are you going to lose at this point with what we've seen in the offense?
I'd be okay.
Well, and again, we're not saying the sky's falling. I'm not saying you fire Nick Sirianni if they don't win a Super Bowl this year.
Nope.
I'm saying that there's clearly been a pattern of offensive struggles when Sirianni has been more in charge than Shane Steichen, and it's up to Sirianni, Brian Johnson, or whoever else advises him, whoever has the ear of the head coach, whether it's Howie Roseman, whether it's Jeffrey Lurie, to point these things out and make sure at the very least Sirianni is aware of these things and can do some self-reflecting, because you mentioned bosses being over your shoulder. Some of the worst bosses are bosses who don't self-reflect, who don't see the error of their own ways. And if Sirianni is one of those type of people, which we don't know, I've never met the guy, maybe he's great, maybe he's not, I don't know. But if he can't self-reflect and go, maybe I am being a little overbearing when it comes to Brian Johnson and, implementing the game plan on a Wednesday afternoon. If he can't see that, then the Eagles are going to have more struggles and more troubles.
All right, I completely agree, but curious to know what you guys think. I should also bring up an argument that I've seen circulating around about how much more difficult our schedule is than everyone else. And while that may be true, I always hate that excuse. But either way, we for sure need some change. And thankfully, Sirianni sounds like he's open to self-reflection and there'll be adjustments.
When you hear criticism, criticism, okay, let me take it back to when we're in a team meeting and I'm, correcting something in a team meeting. Well, that's a correcting criticism, whatever it is, that's a form of that, right? You grow from that. And so I will also listen to criticisms of the outside world. Now, do I sit there and look at all the things? No, Bob has to prepare me for the questions I may get in here. And so criticisms never feel good at first, but if you can use them to your advantage, then we should. And that's kind of how I look at this, right? There's some criticisms out there. Like I answered the motion question, but there's some other things I'm like, maybe we can look at that. Maybe we can do a little bit more there. So I think that shows that we listen. We'll find every different way we can to improve what we're doing on offense.
Good. So again, like we've been talking about, the hope is that results in meaningful change that we see makes a difference. And at least some of that resulted in how the Eagles started practice, electing to go with pads despite it normally being a walkthrough day. And while Devonta Smith and Cam Jurgens missed practice, the good news is that Blankenship was seen stretching, although it didn't appear like he had his helmet, so probably not getting full action in yet. However, that's a great sign considering the blow he took on Sunday night. And the Birds also went with the first drill being ball security, specifically targeting when players are going to the ground, because after multiple fumbles against Dallas, I'd say the fellas could use the work. All right, I'll be interested to see what adjustments are made, and we'll be sure to keep you updated. But what do you hope we see differently from the offense? Let me know. This has been the Philly Special.